Hey everyone, MinerBiker here. It is a very exciting morning here on the Richfield trails. Got something really cool and exciting going on today, so I'm excited to show it to you. So here we go, we got something really special. 3, 2, 1, and there it is. That is the Fezzari La Sal Peak 2.0. This is the new one, 170mm travel beast of a super enduro bike that Fezzari just released earlier this year. And today is first ride, first impressions on it. She is brand spanking new out of the shop yesterday afternoon. It is brand new, not even any dust on it yet. So first ride, first impressions on this beast of a bike going down right now this morning. Here we go. So I did not actually buy this bike, at least not yet. This is a demo bike that Fezzari allowed me to bring home and test out thoroughly on my own trails, which I'm greatly appreciative for. Thank you, Fezzari. Try going up this rock right here. Oh, easy. So I think the number one question for me, and I'd imagine it's probably the number one question for most people who would be considering buying either this bike or any of the new quote-unquote super enduro bikes that we're seeing nowadays, these 170, 180mm travel enduro bikes, is can they really climb and pedal well enough to be more than just a shuttle run in bike parks and things like that, or short climbs to get to a main descent. Can a bike like this do just a normal trail ride? Can it do a 2,000-3,000 plus foot climb to get to some big backcountry descent, things like that? Can it handle some technical riding, say something like you get down in Moab or down in St. George or something that's not primarily downhill, but it's more tight and techy and stuff like that? Can it twist and turn through stuff like that, or is it just going to be too long and cumbersome? Those are the questions that I really have about it. I mean, I know it's going to be able to smash downhill like crazy because that's obviously what it's primarily built for, but can it do that other stuff? That's why I have not purchased one of these bikes yet, is because given the type of riding that I do, anybody who follows this channel knows that I do, I do a lot of kind of non-typical style riding, getting out in the backcountry, lots of pedaling, lots of climbing, things like that on my full suspension bike. That's what we're here to, that's what I'm really wanting to test out with this demo that I'm doing, and hopefully not only answer those questions for myself, but if anybody who's watching has those same type of questions, which I imagine you do, hopefully this will be some good information for you as well. So we'll keep on going and see how this thing does climbing up the Kilnet Trail. So far, actually pretty impressed. I would say it's pedaling and climbing up this equally as well as my old La Sal does. Even for like me, I like to stand up and pedal a lot. Stand up and mash. And feels like the suspension supports that really well. And flying across there, the biggest thing is I gotta get used to not having an instant engagement hub. So used to having them on my two bikes. Been pretty good so far. Definitely no cross-country bike. Not even a trail bike. You can tell she's big. And as good as it's doing going up this, you can tell that this is not its forte, so to speak. she wants to point the other direction. But again, for what it is, it's doing very well pedaling up. I'd say it's right on par with my old La Sal, which I have set up 150 in the back, 170 up front. I'd say this is climbing right alongside with it. I will say that it actually feels like they got a little more anti-squat on this one than they did on the old La Sal. The old La Sal wasn't bad, but this one feels like when you really push the pedals hard that it resists squishing into the travel even more. This one feels like almost the harder you step on the pedals, the more it wants to stand up in the suspension. Really cool feeling, it's nice. Especially knowing how much travel's back there, and yet when you want to stand up and pedal, you don't feel that suspension stealing your energy. Good steep stand up and crank climb here. Rock roll down there, easy peasy. Oh yeah. Easy. Oh yeah. Like butter. It actually feels, even with the shock wide open, it feels very supportive to stand up and crank. Alright, so let's have a little closer look at this here super bike that we're riding. So this is the 2022 Fezzari La Sal Peak. This is the 2.0, the second generation of this bike. I've got it here in the gorgeous purple color. This is a size medium, so I actually went with a size smaller on this than I did with the old La Sal. My old La Sal is a size large. Based on the reach and stuff, the geometry updates on this one, I decided to go with a medium, and it actually feels really good. She's got 100 and stock's 170. I'm not sure if this is set to 180 or not, but it's either 170 or 180. RockShox Zeb Ultimate on the front with 170 millimeters of travel on the back with a RockShox Super Deluxe Ultimate. She is a beast of a bike. She's gorgeous. Threw on some of my Catalyst pedals. She's quite the beast. So far so good. She's been climbing really well. Very impressed how well it's climbing for such a big bike. Doing great. I'm really excited to see it on the downhill. The geometry updates on this over the old La Sal, so the head angle's a tiny bit slacker. This has a 64-degree head tube angle. It's about a half a degree slacker than the old La Sal. The seat tube angle is 77.5. That's pretty close to what the old one was, which is that's a real good spot for a big long travel bike to be, to help them pedal good. So that's really nice. One of the biggest changes they made is they changed up the design of the frame and were able to get a much lower standover height. That top tube's a lot further down, so the standover height is significantly lower. Chain stays are about the same length. I think the bottom bracket's actually a little tiny bit higher. And probably one of the things that I personally don't really care for, but that's a non-issue for the vast majority of people, is with the frame redesign, you can only fit one water bottle in there. That's one of my favorite things about my old La Sal, is being able to carry 2 bottles on a big full suspension, which is very rare to see. Obviously, this one can't do that due to the frame redesign, but hey, like I say, that's a non-issue for the vast majority of people. Let's keep going. finish climbing, get onto the descent. Oh yeah, piece of cake. I do feel like it's a little pedal stroke's not quite as smooth, a little bit harder to pedal uphill, especially the steeper stuff. But as I thought about it, I don't think that's anything to do with the bike as much as it is the lack of the oval chainring that I'm used to having. I've not run a round chainring for years on a bike because I love my ovals. I think that's what I'm feeling. It'd be interesting to throw my crankset off my La Sal onto this and try it for at least one ride with that crankset with my 34 tooth oval chainring. See how it compares. All right, time to point this thing downhill. Let her eat. Dropping into the Juniper Drop trail. See what she can do. Corner's getting all blown out. Oh cow, that thing is so smooth. Man. Oh yeah. Woo! Oh yeah. Oh, she eats that stuff up. Man, I still need to tweak the suspension setup a little bit. She gobbled that right up. That went a lot of cushion front and back. Front's not as different from my other bike as that my other one at 170. That back's definitely got, you feel like 20 mil more travel back there. It's about a 3 foot hook to flat. Good heck, didn't even feel it. Holy cow, dude. Now that chunky section right there, that's crazy. And a bike like this is easy to be lazy on, because it can, corner good, it can absorb a lot of your mistakes that you make in your line choice or your body weight in the wrong spot. Go hit Telegraph on this thing, see how it does. All right, Telegraph it is. Thing's smooth. Oh yeah, so cushy. Woo! Pulled up for that little bit of a huck there on that rock. That's a harsh hit on a regular bike. And it's like, you know, it's still a hit, but wasn't harsh. Definitely wants to go fast. pretty playful too, like it pops up pretty good. You don't have to overwork it to get it up into the air, which is nice. Woo! Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so freaking buttery and smooth. Let's try this section. Oh my goodness. That other section is so harsh. Oh! Let that Zeb eat up right there. Woo-yah! Feed the beast! Yes, dude. What a bike. That's pretty crazy on sections that are normally pretty harsh hits. This thing just eats that up. Dang. So cool. Oh, steep uphill. Pretty amazing how efficiently that thing pedals up stuff, especially when you're stood up and cranking. Man, that thing's so good on the downhill. Feels a little bit kind of lazy and dull on just the kind of smoother, flowy stuff. But man, you hit that chunky stuff and holy cow, this thing just gobbles it up. Tricky little up and over there, handle just fine. Woo-yah! Like landing in a pile of pillows. That is crazy when you stand up and kind of sprint up into something like that. That's pretty amazing for a bike this big to be as responsive to power input as it is. I like going up a drop backwards. Good high speed rock garden section. Easy work of that. what, that thing just gobbled the rock garden. I still need to fine tune the suspension. Dang. Holy cow, dude. Hey, ate that section up so good. Wow. That's a chunky burger coming down right there, especially at speed. This thing just gobbled it up. See how it fills off this little drop right here at the bottom. There's a whole bunch of braking bumps right after it. Oh yeah! Woo! Wow. Okay, so figured it'd be good on the downhills, and yes it is. Wow. What a bike. What a bike. Alright, so there we go. First ride done on the La Sal 2.0 demo bike here. That was way cool and very interesting. Obviously it's just first impressions. We're gonna get a lot more rides on this before I do a full review video and kind of a final verdict and all that kind of stuff. This is just first ride, first impressions, but wow, that thing's going downhill. That thing is like riding on a cloud of pillows. That's pretty awesome. Even with the suspension not quite tweaked just right, it's still so good on the fast, chunky downhill. On the slower downhills, and also on like the smoother, flowy downhills, it just, you know, it feels a little lazy. The bike kind of feels like it's bored a little bit, which is to be expected. This thing's not meant to cruise flow trails. You know, this thing's meant to go fast on rough stuff, and that's what it definitely does best. Not to say it's bad on other stuff, but you can tell that that's, you know, it's meant to be able to do a lot more than that. Climbing, I was very impressed. I agree with some of the other impressions I've heard, that this thing pedals and climbs as good or better as the original La Sal. I don't know if I definitely say better yet, because obviously I was definitely feeling the difference from the round chain ring. I want to put my oval chain ring on this to test that out. Overall, for what this bike is, with the amount of travel it has, pretty incredible how well it pedals and climbs. So as far as it being able to be a, you know, an all-rounder, you know, main bike, that remains to be seen yet. I'm not going to issue a verdict on that until I've had a lot more time on it. Initial impressions are good, but we'll see. But overall, very impressed. Especially, man, you hit a high-speed rock garden downhill. Wow, she just gobbles it up like it's not even there. So cool. Anyways, keep an eye out for a lot more content coming here shortly on this bike. Is over the next week or so. I'm gonna work this thing hard on as much different variety as I can find. So we'll see what I can do. Watch for more content coming out. Some more, another ride video or two, and then at the end we'll do a full kind of review video. Overall recap my whole experience and overall impressions on it after more time. So thanks for watching. Leave us a comment down below. Make sure to check out Fezzari Bicycles and like that hit button. Keep digging up new places to ride.